We gather videos and information from the web, and if you stick around, we are going to share it with you. So stay tuned for news and updates.
And so the challenge for payment systems is to move in that direction, so we can instantaneously move money from my account to your account to the publican's account, the guy who runs the pub, directly. And what we're doing at the Bank of England is we're reorganizing the core of the system in a way that allows new payment providers to just plug in. They could be using distributed ledger technology. They can use other technologies. And we're in a position where these innovative so-called PSPs will be able to provide those types of services. You're seeing similar innovation amongst banks in the U.S., other places. And so this is coming. The best of the financial institutions can see the direction of where the payment system is going to go. In a market,
means making a lot less money.
A lot less money from payment system, maybe more money from understanding their customers better, more money from from providing other core banking services.
In your view, does Asia have the ability to have more digital transformation policy impact than the U.S.?
I think it's a great opportunity to lead from a regulatory standpoint. Absolutely. I think that's one of the beauties. Regulatory impact and regulatory innovation or leadership can happen anywhere. And that's where we've got to build around that. And as we talked about earlier, make sure it interacts with regulators that are willing to interact with us and help that journey along the way. And so I'm a believer in cover, and I have responsibility for each of our regions around the world on the customer front. So I'm neutral from that perspective, and there's lots of great opportunities elsewhere in the world. We happen to be connecting today in Asia, and it does happen to be on the fintech and blockchain and crypto side. I think the fastest growing, most innovative place in the world.
Telling Arab leaders on Friday that he wants to buy oil and gas with the Chinese yuan instead of the U.S. dollar, furthering his goal to internationalize the Chinese currency and replace the dollar as the reserve currency of the world.
President Xi met with the regional leaders of the entire Middle East and North Africa, some 20-something nations. This is a slight paradigm shift that's beginning to take place here, and it has strategic significance that a lot of the media is missing. It wasn't just a meeting with Mohammed bin Salman from Saudi Arabia. He hosted this regional summit, something similar that President Trump did in 2017 when he met with the regional leaders being hosted by Mohammed bin Salman. So we've come a long way since July of 2017 because this relationship between the United States and the Arab world is tarnished. I have one recommendation here for the administration. Work with the incoming Prime Minister of Israel, Prime Minister Netanyahu, who wants to strengthen and expand the Abraham Accords. That means relationship with Arabs and Israelis. Work with him and have him help you renew the relationship with the Arabs.
After telling Arab leaders on Friday.
So, as I say, a lot in the news. A lot of it's about the SEC right now is what at least I'm seeing. We had the settlement with Kraken, for example. Now we have just a civil complaint just been filed against Terraform Labs. What is the role of the SEC versus the CFTC? Are you feeling left out?
Oh, we're very busy, so just stay tuned. But I think it's important that in the United States, we have many different federal regulators, all of whom have their important roles to play. We have the bank regulators, the SEC for the securities market, of course, and the CFTC for the commodity derivatives market. So each one does its part, and I think what you're seeing right now is a coordinated effort to really examine the risk that exists in the crypto sector and to make sure that we're using all of the tools we have available.
So let me get specific about one thing, stablecoins. Because they've been a theme through this, and we've seen, as I say, state regulation here in New York as well as federal regulation. Where are you on the question of whether they're a security or not?
So I think not all stablecoins are the same. It's really important to look at each one and see how it's structured. So this is, of course, a facts and circumstances analysis, a technical legal analysis. So there are many stablecoins that are structured as payment stablecoins, which would fall under the bank regulators and payment regulation. There are some that are structured and that the SEC has alleged are securities. There are some that to me seem to be derivatives. And so that would fall under our jurisdiction as well as the SEC's.
Well, I wonder, are there some that are both as a practical matter? I mean, like Binance, it's called Binance Peg BUSD. I've seen people say that that is both a derivative and a security at the same time. Is it possible to do both?
I think, yes, security-based swaps are securities and they are derivatives as well. But I think I can't speak about any particular token.
Okay, fair enough. But in general, there are things that can be both. That can.
Sure. There are security-based swaps, like I said.
How should we, those of us who are not involved the way you are, regard the question of where these things should be regulated between the SEC and the CFTC? I mean, what's the right way to look at that question?
Yeah. Well, I think it just all comes down to the product analysis, like you just mentioned, right? So the SEC, of course, has jurisdiction over securities in the securities market, and that includes security-based swaps and other derivatives on securities. And there has been, through Dodd-Frank and other legislation, the delineation between the CFTC and the SEC, and indeed there's a long history going back between the agencies all the way back to Chairman John Shad and Chairman Philip McBride Johnson, the Shad-Johnson Accord, where they determined where some of the delineations were between the two agencies. Security futures, another product where that took some time to hash out. So the agencies are used to working together. The industry is used to having to do that analysis to determine what's the SEC and what's the CFTC.
This is not financial advice, and by any means you should not take any advice from us. We have no financial background. This channel is strictly fun-based. So stay along for the ride, and if you like what you see, be free to like and subscribe.